Jesus Burgess. Jesus Burgess, you guys. This episode just gets a 10 out of 10 automatically just because of Jesus Burgess revealing himself in this episode. So, we start off this episode basically with Cavendish talking to Luffy about how the people in the Coliseum only want to see bloodshed and this is a big show to them and all of this stuff. You know, Luffy, being the oblivious person he is, he's not paying attention to Cavendish. He's basically just trying to get his costume together for the competition. So he decides to pick a cape and a helmet and some type of little shield, which wouldn't do any good against an attack, I believe. But Cavendish is like, so Cavendish knows he's like distracted, and he asks him like, while everyone else is like fondling Cavendish, like everyone wants to jump his nine bones, all the girls want to jump his nine bones. He asks Luffy, he says, "What is your name?" And Luffy, being oblivious, of course, is supposed to be in disguise, says his real name, which is Luffy, and he rips off his cape. He says, "I want to be the king of the pirates," and he basically, and everyone looks at his name tag and they're like, "Oh, Lucy," and they like he just mispronounced it. So and Cavendish is like, "Oh, if you were the real Monkey D. Luffy, I would have had to kill you right here." And Luffy's like, "Why?" Of course, because he knows he's the real Luffy, and he says, "Why?" And Cavendish just explained like 3 years ago how Luffy took his fame with the War of the Best because everyone was paying attention to him and the Whitebeard and all of that stuff and the death of Ace. And he says all the rookies, he's gonna try to kill all the rookies. So he has a plan. That's why he wants the Mary Nomi fruit. Then after that, we skip to Rebecca, which everyone wants to jump her non-bones as well because she's half naked. I mean, you can't say because she's cute. She had a helmet on. She was half naked. Her boobs were out. She was half naked. So that's what you see, and then she's walking down the corridor. She runs into the statue of Kronos, which is the Colosseum's top gladiator. He's won 3,000 out of 3,000 fights, and she sees Luffy staring at it. And Luffy asks her what the statue is. She explains to him the story behind it, and then she says that no one really knows if who remembers who he is. He said remembers if he was real or not. That's what I should say. Remembers if he was real or not, and no one wants to remove the statue because it doesn't feel right. So Luffy, and she asks Luffy, and while she's asking Luffy what block he was in, and she's like she hopes that they both make it to the final round. And so then after that we skip to Jesus Burgess, the awesomeness that he is, destroying everyone in Block A, and he unveils himself to the crowd. They're calling him Mr. Store because like he had this paper bag on his face, and they call him Mr. Store because the paper bag said Happy Store or something like that. And he reveals himself, and then when he revealed himself, there were government officials that were spying around. The ones that we saw 2 episodes ago following Sanji and Kinemon, those are the government officials. They were spying around, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Jesus Burgess," and they were surprised. And while they're spying, one of Bartholomeo's crew is spying on them. And Bartholomew's crew member tries to kill one of the Marines, but the Marine ends up killing, well, beating him up. Really, not really killing him. Then we see, Then we see Bartholomew coming to screen, and he's looking really vindictive and like he's planning something. And then we skip to Fujitora getting all the information about all the guys that are there at the stadium because we know there's a lot of bad guys there that want the Merry Man Nomi. There's leaders of countries, there's pirates, bounty hunters, all this type of stuff there that want the Merry Nomi because it's a powerful devil fruit. So we see Fujitora, and we actually see like the human side of Fujitora. We don't see like the oblivious the one blind guy that was getting like swindled and gambling. He was actually like helping. He helped this little girl get her balloon, and it really like shows you what kind of person Fujitora is because he helped the little girl with the balloon, and then he says to his subordinate, he says, the thing we have to worry about the most before we worry about any like bad guys, basically, I'm paraphrasing, he said any bad guys basically is the safety of the civilians. And that was like, oh my God, he's really about justice and stuff. And this is where we find out he's actually the admiral because he puts the coat on him, which says justice and whatnot. And so then that's what we get in this episode. I give this episode really 7 out of 10. I mean, we got a lot of character development, new characters. more of a progression in the plot and stuff like that. So yeah, 7 out of 10. So like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you guys think of this episode, and I will see you later.